Hi friends, it's Nicole, and today I want to talk about some books on my TBR on the topic of politics. This video is partially inspired by two new books I got in the past 2 months and partially inspired by a book I'm reading for 11 months from and about Asia reading project. Some of you can tell I'm very interested in reading books about politics and social justice. In the past, I like to read books on specific topics, especially on gender and racial equality. But this year, I want to explore more and branch out to more topics and political theories. And hopefully, I can read and learn things more systematically. Because I'm a firm believer that politics influenced every aspect of our lives. Just like fashion, if you have watched The Devil Wears Prada, and even when people are saying that they are staying out of politics, they're still actively participating by their inactivity. In early 2020, I listened to an episode of podcast by Vox called Are You a Political Hobbyist? It was the first time I learned the term political hobbyist. It's talking about people who follow politics as kind of entertainment and also a way of express self-identity, but not necessarily involved or engaged in any political activities. I really like that episode. I'll link it down below so you can check it out if you're also interested in that. After listening to that, I often reflect on my behavior and remind myself that not to only be a political hobbyist, but take action whenever I can. The actions can be big or small, but reading and learning is a very important part of it. So I put 6 books from my TBR on the topic of politics. 2 of them are about political theories and history, and 4 of them are about recent events and some specific topics. And now let's take a look at what they are. First are the 2 books about political theories. Technically, there are 3 books in total because one of them has 2 volumes, but the first one is The Origins of Political Order from Pre-Human Times to the French Revolution by American political scientist Francis Fukuyama. Virtually all human societies were once organized tribally, but over time most developed more political institutions, and some went on to create governments. This book is talking about how political orders formed from the tribal societies to the first modern societies in China to the creation of laws and orders in India and the development of political accountability in Europe and up until the eve of French Revolution. It brings us the insights to the democratic societies and lead us to see the origins and the nature of politics. This book is the first book in Fukuyama's political order series, or like duology, although I don't know duology if it's used for nonfictions. But the second book in the series is called Political Order and Political Decay, from Industrial Revolution to Globalization and Democracy. This book is one of the most popular books on Douban for many years now, which is a Chinese reading community that I'm following. And I finally got it after one of my friends read it and after I've been intimidated by it for a long time. And also I heard this book has an easy academic writing style, so it shouldn't be so hard for us to read and learn about. So I'm very excited to dive into this year and to see what all the hype is about. The second book, or the second set of books, has an even broader title. It's just called On Politics, and the subtitle goes, A History of Political Thought from Herodotus to the Present. And these books are a combination about history, philosophy, and politics. And for the sake of my hands, I'll just be holding this one. Compared to talking about the creation of political units from all over the world, these 2 books take a closer look at the 2,500 years of Western political history and thoughts. The first book introduced the basic tenets of Greek democracy, covers from the ancient philosophies up to the Roman Empire. The second book talks about how the Catholic Church became the dominant political structures after the collapse of the Roman Empire and concluded with the modern state. I'll admit that I got these books many years ago kind of blindly when I wanted to learn about political theories and thoughts, and also because of the design of the book, especially if you put 2 books together and look at their spine. I was like, a set of books about political thoughts and with such an elegant design couldn't go wrong. But they have been sitting on my shelf since then and touched. From the look of it, these books are a little bit more difficult to read and need to invest more time and energy to go through and digest. But I'd love to learn about different political ideas, and also I want to read books that I own for a very long time. Following are some books on specific topics on politics, and I didn't include any books about racial or gender equality here as they are already part of my reading system. The first book here is called Uncertain Justice, The Roberts Court and the Constitution by Lawrence Tribe and Joshua Matz. This is a book about how the U.S. Supreme Court under the Chief Justice John Roberts affected America since 2005. The U.S. Supreme Court system is very interesting to me, and I only learned about it after I moved here. And I don't know if any other countries are using similar systems, but it's very different from the system that I grew up with. The idea of having a set of 9 people to make the final decision of all the cases brought to the federal court or all the cases brought to the state court but dealing with federal laws is very different and fascinating for me to read about, not to mention learning about balancing the powers in the history of Supreme Court. The book covers the first 9 years of Roberts Court because it was published in 2014 and covers the variety of topics such as equality, healthcare, freedom of speech, gun rights, and presidential power. Things were changing rapidly on those years and onward, and I believe looking back to those years from the time that we live now and with the knowledge we have right now will be more interesting and more reflecting. This book was also recommended to me by the friends who recommended me the origins of political orders. He recommended me a couple of books during the years, but I think I only read part of them, and on the contrary, I think he read all the books I recommended him. So I'd better get into these books. And then I have a book recommended by Kazen from the channel Always Doing. I'll link her channel down below and also the video that she recommended this book. The book is called How to Lose a Country, The 7 Steps from Democracy to Dictatorship by E.C. Lauren. Kazen read a series of books on the topics of modern fascism following the attack that happened to the US Capitol last January. She made an amazing video where she recommended all the books and also ranked them. And this is her favorite book. Sorry, spoiler for that video if you want to watch. But she said if we would take one recommendation from that video, it will be this one. So I'm starting with this one. This book identifies the early signs of populism and nationalism that was sprouting across the globe from Eastern Europe to South America. He also defined the global pattern and armed the readers to root it out. I think we're definitely living at an age where nationalism is coming back to us and getting stronger day by day. So it's utterly important for us to identify them and don't lose ourselves in their propaganda. And also I heard this book is very easy to read and I trust Kazen, so here we are. Next, I have a book that Nicole from Nicole is Here to Learn recommended to me a couple of years ago, and again, amazing booktuber, link down below. The book is called Nun of Above by Rick Edwards. It's also a very concise book targeting the audience who's not very familiar with the UK election system, aka it's perfect for me. I think if you're a voter in Britain, it will be even better because it's written in a very understandable way, but also it doesn't influence your vote. Apparently, I don't vote for the UK, but I'm very excited to learn about the UK government and election system. Especially nowadays, countries are highly influenced each other. Things happen in one country can impact many others. So I think it's always good for us to learn more systems. The last book here is Guide to Political Revolution by Bernie Sanders. This book was published in 2017 after the 2016 election, and I picked up this book from a library sale because I want to learn more about his ideas, but I don't think I know enough. And knowing Sanders, I imagine this book would be more like a call for action with some topics that he cares a lot about. From the table of contents, we can see that this book has topics like healthcare, minimum wage, taxes, education and climate change, and much more. This book also has many interesting illustrations, cards, and typesettings in order to explain certain concepts. The target audience of this book is clearly the general public, and Agree with him or not, I think it's always interesting to learn more about his series. Especially back in 2016, my attention in the election was driven by other candidates. And that's all the books on this TBR. And kind of unfortunately, because I noticed that it's very US and UK focused. In the future, I would love to read more about other countries' political history and also the current political environment. But the good thing is, with the From and About Asia reading project, I found myself already picking up books about politics on the Asian countries that we're reading about, and I'm enjoying them. Overall goal for myself is to be more conscious about all the events happened around us, because like I said, I believe that everything that we do or we don't do is a result of politics. I don't think that we talk a lot about politics on BookTube, so please let me know your take on this. Do you like to read about books on politics? Are you interested in any of the books that I mentioned, or do you have any recommendations? Also, please don't forget to say hi in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you liked it. I wish you happy reading, stay healthy. I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!